The Peacemaker finale, Jay, came out. No lies, just a massive waste of time. That is the way to describe the entire season of Peacemaker. And it's kind of reflected in the ratings. Despite coming out on the back of what Warner Brothers told you was a huge success, even though it really wasn't, in Superman, and James Gunn connecting this movie to Superman and telling everybody that you have to watch this show to understand what's coming in the next Superman movie, the ratings have been trash for Peacemaker. And honestly, after the finale, although it's got a long runtime, so maybe that might help it out a little bit in the Nielsen ratings, I can't see this being the thing to get people in. And I just wanted to go through a random assortment of reactions. Some of these are from people who have liked James Gunn's DC universe. Some of it is from people that have not. But here's some of the reactions I saw this morning. You can't even spoil this finale because nothing happened. I'm crying. Hashtag Peacemaker. They're not really wrong. There's no reason this finale needed to be this long. To be honest, there's no reason this season needed to exist, period. John Roca, who was sucking off James Gunn just a week ago over the Nazi episode. John Roca, I love Peacemaker season 1 finale. I wish I felt the same way about Peacemaker season 2 because it was an utter snore fest. It showed us the limits and cheesy instincts of James Gunn's writing sometime. He goes on a rant, but this is a dude who is quite literally sucking James Gunn's dick to completion just last week. I'm checked out on Peacemaker. Had a blast with season 1, but season 2 is a slog. It felt like an indulgent parade of Harcourt, James Gunn's wife, by the way, metal bands and juvenile humor stuff with lame guest appearances and a meandering storyline that went nowhere. Peacemaker season finale, what a joke. Peacemaker season finale, nothing burger. This entire season finale was just a long music video. Honestly, I would not recommend that anybody watch Peacemaker season 2.
That bad.
It really is. It's not fucking funny. It's not good. I don't feel like the story went anywhere. You had a little moment of like fucking virtue signaling when it came to Earth X that is, again, completely unnecessary in every way. It would have been interesting if they actually used Earth X in a way that fucking mattered, but they didn't. They just wanted to put out there that, by the way, this Nazi-controlled world isn't that much different than our own. Thanks, fat lesbian black woman who can do pretty much anything she wants in the current world she lives in, but gets chased down the street for being black, fat, and gay in Nazi world. But it's not that much different. It's a fucking joke. There is one planet that they potentially discover that could potentially lead somewhere for Man of Tomorrow, but that is it. And you would only know that if you read a fucking comic book run from about 20 years ago. That might do something to set up some future stuff in Superman, but if you tell people they have to watch this shit to understand the next Superman movie, they're going to be so fucking disappointed, I think, because I think season 2's, I wasn't a big fan of season 1. I think season 2 is absolute dog shit.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to take this down real quick. I saw some of these articles coming up too, where James Gunn talked to Ryan Reynolds about Deadpool showing up in the season finale. Would that have made any type of difference, or it would just be a key jangling cameo kind of thing? Which doesn't make any sense whatsoever because they're two different, would that be the first like DC Marvel crossover kind of thing?
That would have been the epitome of just key jangling bullshit.
Okay.
Unless they were using it to set up a massive Marvel DC crossover arc, which who knows? I mean, maybe that is a possibility.
Is that where James Gunn is trying to go, since he does have a lot of ties in Marvel? He's like, hey, we could do something cool since the regular storylines ain't popping. Let's cross the streams.
Just throwing it out there, like these things have been talked about for a while, and we've obviously had periods where they did that the crossovers in the comics. I would not be shocked if. Now, I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but I would not be shocked that it's 6 years from now, 5 years from now, in the aftermath of the next 2 Avengers movies and probably some struggling DC movies as well. If they get together like, hey, we kind of got nothing left in our bag. Why don't we try this? Maybe people get hyped to see these characters fight. I wouldn't be shocked.
It
I
would.
would
The
not be
thing
shocked.
is, that would be some serious negotiations, hopefully with the right people, because Marvel wouldn't want their characters to look weak, and DC wouldn't want their. So it's like if they put Batman versus Wolverine, probably would end in a tie. You know, they'd show a lot of cool stuff, but that would I would assume they would just kind of do storylines where they would fight, and then like Batman versus Superman, then they'd have to come together at the end to fight another bad person, some made up creature maybe that wouldn't affect either universe if they did something like that.
Yeah,
But
and
if you have the
there
wrong
was
people negotiating, you can make Marvel look really, really bad. Like we're the weaker of the superheroes than DC. I think I don't
and it
know.
was like there's a lot of people who feel like they got suckered in because there was promised to be some big cameos. There just fucking wasn't.
Really?
Lex Luthor did show, like, in terms of the end, Lex Luthor did show up in episode 6 or whatever that was for a 1-minute conversation while in prison. But fuck, dude. I was never really expecting to love it. I thought Peacemaker season 1 was very don't really like it that much, but don't despise it. So I wasn't expecting a lot going into it. I think it's a huge step down. And maybe it just seems so low effort. And maybe James Gunn is overwhelmed with all the stuff that he's trying to juggle right now, doing this while doing the Superman movie and overseeing other stuff. I don't know. It fucking sucked. It sucked.
And it's what's crazy is you wonder if he knows that it stinks, because the way that they try to market it, where it's like, please watch it. It's going to tie into Superman. If you love Superman, you need to watch it you got to do your homework. The crazy thing is Marvel went down that road where they told you to do your homework and it failed miserably. All that stuff of, watch Loki season 1, it's going to tie in here and all this is going to tie in here. And when you start to tell people you need to sit down and do your homework so you can understand each story, that ain't it. The biggest homework thing that we'll ever do is probably wait till the end credits, but those times might be completely gone now, because usually on an opening weekend, some idiot like myself or others will just post the end credit scene on Twitter, and you could watch it there instead of having to wait till you see every Billy, Tom, Dick, and Harry's name go up on the screen. So that's usually where we are now as far as social media goes. So it's a shame that they didn't learn their lesson, where it's like, don't tell the people they got to do homework so they could better understand this universe, especially when Superman wasn't really received as well as you probably thought it was going to be received. Like that's, I think if they wanted to do something to tie in, they should do something like a crypto series, just keep it for a younger audience and just have that dog running around with just doing stuff. It doesn't really tie into anything, but it could get a younger audience excited to go watch some of these other films.
Mr. Terrific and Crypto series.
I mean, if Supergirl has the same budget, I don't expect, unless it's like unbelievable, I don't expect Supergirl to make as much as Superman if they got the same kind of budget.
I don't think so. Now, here's the thing. I do think that Superman will be in that movie. Obviously, we know Lobo is going to be in that movie, so maybe the presence of Superman, maybe they market that heavily to make it seem like another Superman movie, to get, I don't know. Supergirl is not Wonder Woman, right? In terms of like the character's overall popularity and stuff. And I don't think anyone expected Wonder Woman necessarily to make more money than Batman versus Superman, but it did. So who knows? Anything can happen if people really do like the movie. But in terms of would I bet on that? No, certainly not.
Yeah.
I would bet on it getting a significantly lower return than Superman.